Okay, here's going to be a little show you a poor man's way of just checking to see how your contact pattern on a set of gears. This axle still has the original hatching. I don't know if you can really see it, but they look like that. The Dana ring sets look like that. They had odd marks in them, which is all cool. We're going to show you the redneck method of checking it. White lithium grease. Won't hurt a thing in your gear oil. You shake this stuff up. I'm going to shake the camera while we're at it. And you just want to, well, there we go. You can put a good slathering of this stuff in these teeth. Once you get the can, this is a new can, and once you get it where it'll come out good, see there, just get a good slathering on it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn this ring gear and run it through the gear and run it through and look at my contact pattern. And as you can see, the contact pattern, granted this ain't as good as marking compound, okay, but we're hitting deeper, a little bit deeper in the middle, and we're hitting about halfway in the gear, which is right. That's how this thing should work. That's how it should be. And you know, we're running a good pattern. It's, you know, it's factory setup ring gear and pinion. You know, it's never been apart, the best I can tell. So gear oil was a little black in it. There's no metal or anything in it. I just think it's just neglect. Most people neglect their front and rear axles. They never actually change the grease in them, which is kind of a bad thing. But there is a telltale sign or two that this one has been into before. It's got a little silicone around it. A little blue silicone, might I add. So I'm assuming, and I know this sounds stupid, but here's what I'm assuming. This truck, yeah, this thing was coated in grease and this, that, and the other. A lot of this grease actually ran out of the engine that's in it. That would be my fault. I certainly, yeah, we won't go there. But anyway, it kind of gooed down on it, and it sat in a dirt field for a while, so it got scummed up on it. And, you know, this thing was not this dirty originally. This truck's been sitting around. It's been moved around through the fields and everything else. It's been 3 or 4 different places. But to make a long story short, this truck had new brakes on it. It had new wheel bearings in it. It had lots and lots of new parts on this truck. Somebody was working on it before I got it, and it turns out that the base on the carburetor was broken, and it had junkyard markings on it. They'd put a carburetor on it. The truck didn't run good. Carburetor was bad on it, is my opinion. They'd done a bunch of work on it. The truck had sat for a number of years. They'd done a bunch of work on it, and they put a carburetor on it, and it run worse than what it did, and they gave up on it. I bought it off a guy that deals in cores. If y'all know Andy, Canada Catalyst, this guy does the exact same thing he does. And I bought this truck off. I gave him $250 for an entire truck, which was a real good deal for parts. And the truck did run. I did not drive it. I towed it from the front, thank goodness, and didn't run it with the back wheels on the ground. But anyway, I think that somebody was minx to working on this thing. I don't think they ever put any grease back in this front axle, because a little bit more than this is all that came out of it. Yep. Of course, you know, things sit around for years and they do tend to leak, so, you know, anything is possible. It was wet, you know, around it, so we're going to assume that. But the bearings, the backlash, the bearings and everything feel good by turn. I'm not going to tear this thing apart. I may pull the carrier to look at it, but I really don't even think I'm going to do that. I'm going to put it in the truck, and if all is quiet, everything's good. If it turns out it's making noise, that's a simple process too. I've got good bearings. My bearings look like new on mine. I mean, I know it sounds stupid that they could have been through the torture that happened to this thing. Busted parts. There's my pinion pin in 2 pieces. Anyway, the bearings are good. Got a press. I mean, I'll put those bearings in it, but I don't know. I'm still up in the air whether I'm gonna pull that carrier out. That carrier is a pain to pull on these. They make a spreader to pull the carrier. It actually spreads the housing, I'm going to say 10 or 15 thousandths, so it comes right out. But there is the whole hammer method, dead blow hammer, you know, so you don't do any damage. Pry it out with a crowbar and beat it back in. So we may do that, we may not. I don't know. But I think we're about done for this evening. I may actually bolt this housing in, I don't know. If so, yins will get to see that. Just keep watching the videos.